So welcome to this class. In this class, we'll be looking at variables, right? So what are variables? Variables are containers for storing data values. So when we use variables to store values on memory, right? We use variables to be just to store values, right? And each variable in Java has a specific type, right? And you have a lot of types in Java. So the values you are storing in these variables, what you are storing in the variables are called values. And these values have a specific data type, right? And this data type determines the size and layout of your variable in memory. So for example, when you are going to store these values somewhere, and in our cases, we're storing it on memory, right? So the type of this variable you are going to store determines the memory space that is allocated to that variable, right? So the range of values that can be stored within that memory and the set of operations can be applied to the variable. Now, because this is your variable, because of the type of variable will determine the memory space allocated to that particular variable. So therefore, it means that for a specific variable type, there's a range of values that is permitted to be stored. We're going to look at it. So there are three types of variables in Java currently. Generally, we have the local, instant, and static variables. We're going to explore that more. But then, like we said, in Java, type of value stored in your variable are of different types, right? So we have string, we have int, we have float, we have boolean, and then a lot more. Instant variables are declared in the class, but outside any method or constructor, any block. So when a variable is declared in the class, but outside the method or a constructor, we call them instant variables. When the variables are declared inside the body of a method, call them local variables. The local variables are also known as static variables and are declared with the static keyword in the class, right? So this we are going to clarify as we move further. But we are talking about variables. And we said that variables are containers. They are used to store values. And these values are of different data types. Or different types, right? So, since variables are used to store values, variables are used to store values. Well, how do we now declare variables? How do we create these variables on memory, right? So the syntax to declare a variable is just a type, the variable name, and then the assignment operator, which is equal to, and then the value. Right? So, I'm going to declare many variables, to declare more than one variables of the same type, you can do that in a single line by using comma separated list. So if you have values of different types, of the same types, right, you can declare them in one line using comma separated list. So you can also use, you can also assign a value to more than one variables if they have the same value in just a single line, right? So the final keywords, if you don't model like a constant, if you don't want other persons to overwrite existing values, use the final keyword. So what the final keyword is saying is that this variable, the value of this variable is unchangeable, just a read only. So when you declare a variable with a final keyword, when you declare a variable with a final keyword, what you are defining, what you are saying is that these variables cannot be changed, right? So I'm back to our program. I'm back to our code. So we have said that variables, so this is called a single argument. So this will not be executed by your Java program, right? Just comment. So how do you say that to declare a variable? We use the type, and then the variable name, they will use an assignment operator equal to, and then a value, or what you want to store in that variable, right? So we have various various variable types. We're going to talk about it, but let's start with int. So by typing the word int, I'm specifying that the kind of variable I want to define, the value I want to give to the variable will be an integer, right? So the variable name, use the variable name. I'm going to use, for example, my first variable. And what I want to store that variable for, right? So if I log this variable, choose variable. So in line 4, what I've just done is to create a variable, and the name of that variable is what? My first variable. And the variable has a type integer, and the value, which is what you are storing in that variable, is what? 4, right? So if I compile this and run it, what I have 4, so I'm logging this variable. So what I've done is just to create a store, and I'm storing the word 4 in that variable called my first variable. So if this is clear, then we also see that you can declare, if you have more than 2 variables, for example, you have variable of, let's say, my second variable, my second variable. And you also want to create a variable which is of the same type with this my second variable, for example, my third variable. You can do that in one line. So I'm giving this my second variable a value of 7. And I want to create, instead of ending a statement, I can also do that in a single line. My third variable equals to what? 8. So what have I done? I have created 2 variables. Now, because they have the same data type, the same type, I can't create this variable in a single line, right? So you can see, so my second variable is having a value of 7. My third variable is having a value of, so I made a mistake in this spelling. This is my third variable. So my third variable is having a value of 8, right? So if I log any of these, for example, let me log my third variable. So I'll be expecting what? I'll be expecting 8. So let's compile and run it again. Let's compile and then run it again. I'm having it. So I've created 2 variables. I've created a variable and assigned a value of 4. Now please, I'll do 2 things in one line. Let's look at this. So this first one I did, let's say fourth variable. So what I'm doing is like that I've declared the variable. I've created a store called what? False. But I didn't assign any value to it. So I can come to a second line, second statement, and then assign a value to it. So this is variable declaration. My first line, I'm declaring a variable. In line 7, I'm assigning a value to that variable which I declare. So usually you do that, do the both of them in what? A single line, right? So these are 2 things done in one line: variable declaration and then variable assignment, right? So when you create a variable, what happens behind the scene is that in memory allocation, allocation is created a memory for this variable, right? So an allocation is created memory for this variable. So now, depending on the variable type, depending So depending on the variable type, being the variable type, space is created on memory for that what variable. So like I said, depending on the variable type, a space is allocated on memory for that particular variable, right? Now I'm going to explore more on this. But now, if you have an int, let's call it 6th what variable, is equals to what 10. So we have created a variable with variable name 6th variable and assigning value of 11 to that variable, right? So I can come back here and decide I want to reassign a different value to it, right? So if I take our system.log and then I'm going to log this 6th variable, right? And see if I run it, you will see that our variable name, the value of our variable will change to 18. So it's going to give me what? 18, right? Going to give me what? 18. Can see it 18. Now, when you put the word final, what you are saying, we can see it's giving me error. They are saying that this variable cannot be altered, cannot be changed. And that's why I'm having error. So final, that's why I'm having, if I compile this also, I'll get an error. So final, the keyword final, final keyword, final is used to specify that the variable cannot be what? Change. So with the word final, it means that the value of the variable cannot be changed, right? So in naming our variable, there are rules to it. So what are these rules? Our variables have names can contain letters, digit, underscore, and dollar signs. So our variable names can only contain letters, digits, underscores, and dollar sign. Our variable name must begin with a letter. Name should start with a lowercase letter and cannot contain what? White space, right? So our name should start with lowercase letter and cannot contain what? White space. Names can also begin with dollar and what? Underscore, right? So names are case sensitive. So my var and my var are different variables. So in naming the variable name, give you a variable name, know that they are case sensitive. So you cannot assign reserved words. You cannot give a variable name reserved words. For example, words like Java or int or boolean are keywords especially reserved to be used in Java. So you can't give those our names, those kind of variable, those kind of names, right? So remember we talked about data types. Let's look at data types. So we see that all values in Java are divided into two categories. The first are reference, and then we have the primitive and non-primitive data types, right? So in the primitive data types, which is where I want to explore, we have two categories. We have boolean and numeric, and then under boolean we have boolean, right? So in numeric we have character and integer. Under character we have char. In integral we have integer and floating points, and this integer we have byte, short, int, and long. Under floating point we have float and double. So therefore, for primitive data types, we have boolean, char, byte, long, int, float, and what? Double. So we have these 8 data types, 8 primitive data types, right? So we're going to explore them. Now remember, we said that when you create a variable, depending on the type of data, from the file type of type, whether it's an integer. So depending on the type, whether it's an integer or float or boolean, a memory is allocated, a space allocated on memory for that particular value. Let's look at this. So for the different space, for bytes, you have 1 byte. And then because it's 1 byte, the range of values that can be given to a byte is minus 128 to 127. Now for shorts, we have 2 bytes. So you can see the list of values. And then to calculate the range, it is minus 2n to 2n minus what? 1. Back to my code. So remember, so we have different data types. Boolean, my bool. I'll give it a variable name of my bool. Can either be true or what? False. Right? We also have another one called what? Int. We have used int, which stands for integer. Call it my int. Right? And put it 14. We have double. Right? We have double. I'll call it my double. I'll give it 1 point. Those are floating points. Right? They have float. My floats. So by default, decimal numbers in Java are double. So to indicate that this is a float, you use what? F at the end. So you are showing that it's a float. So for double, you don't need to give any prefix. For float, you need to put the word F. So we also have bytes. Byte, I'll say my what? My byte. I'm going to give it 1, right? Okay. So let's go back to this statement I said before. I will have others. We have bytes. We have shorts. My shorts. Right? We have long. Right? My long. You use elf or long, right? So elf is supposed to specify long. So remember what I said initially. I said when you create a variable, right? When you create a variable, depending on the variable type, space is created on memory. So when I create the variable and the type of variable is bytes, in my case, our bytes. Now this, because I'm going to give this 12. Now because the type of variable, the space we are located on memory depends on the type of variable. Now in this case, our variable type is bytes. The amount of space created for byte memory is 1 byte. 1 byte. So when you create a variable with variable type bytes, 1 byte of memory is created. 1 byte of memory is created. And a byte is 8 bits, right? So therefore, the range of values that can be assigned to a byte is 2 to the power minus 2 to the power n, which are case which is 2 to the power 8. Minus 3 to the power 8 to give you minus what? 128. To 2 to the power n minus 1. 2 to the power 8 n. You know, a byte is 8 bits. So a byte is equals to 8 bits. Right? So therefore, the range of values, a byte is equals to 8 bits. Right? So therefore, range of values, the range, so a byte is equals to 8 bits. And when you create a variable of type bytes, 1 byte, which is 8 bits, is created on memory, space created on memory for you to put that value in. Right? So you're only giving it 1 byte, which is 8 bits, to put your value in. So therefore, because you are limited by that space, the range of values that can be assigned to that space is minus 2 to the power n to minus 2 to the power n minus what? Minus 1. Right? So therefore, for bytes, minus 2 to the power n, 2 to the power 8 is minus 128. 2 raised by n minus 1 is 127. So 1 and 1 what? 127. So it is not minus 1 what? 127. So the range of values that can be assigned to a byte is minus 128 to minus 127. So if I come here and assign and remove this 12 and say 300, I'll get an error. That's because the memory, the space allocated for bytes cannot contain this value. Right? So that now explains the fact that depending on the variable type, space is created in memory for that particular variable. So all these variable types have the amount of space created on memory for it. Right? So I'm going to change this back to 10. And what are these spaces? Let me look at. Byte is 1 byte. For data type short is 2 bytes. And so because it's 2 bytes, 2 raised power n, like I say, 2 raised power minus 2 raised power n to 2 raised power n minus 1, I can see is 32,768.32. So these are the range of values you can give to short. Right? Range of values you can give to short. So for int is 4 bytes, and these are the range. We have for long 8 bytes. We have 4 bytes, we have 8 bytes. So you can see the highest among them is double and what long. Right? So double boolean is 1 byte, but it's true or false. Char is what? 2 bytes. Right? Java typecasting promotion. So what exactly is typecasting? So typecasting is the process of converting from one data type to another. Right? So converting from one primitive data type to another. That is typecasting. So in Java, there are 2 types of typecasting. We have widening typecasting and we have narrow typecasting. So in widening casting is done automatically. We are converting a smaller type to a larger type size. For example, byte to short to char, int to long, so float to double. Widening casting is done automatically when passing a smaller value type to a larger type. Right? So to help us actually understand better, so let's go back to our code. So next we're going to be looking at what typecasting. So what exactly is typecasting? Typecasting is the process of converting one primitive data type to another. Right? For example, I have double. I have a double type. I'll call it my casting word double. I'm giving it a value of 1.45. Sorry, I made a mistake. Casting word double. Right? So if I have an int, I'll call it my casting word int. Now I want to assign is casting double to int. It's giving me error. Why? Now the reason why it's giving this error is that remember that double has, when you assign a variable with data type double, its bit of memory is created, any bit or space is created of memory for it. So why that int is 4 bits. So therefore double is bigger than int. So we have a space created for int which is 4 bits. But I take a variable that's a double, putting in that little space. You know that's impossible. It's like forcing a cow to the eye of a needle. Right? So our double is big, it's a bigger value. And then we want to force it through an integer value. Remember that the space created for integer is 4 bits. That of double is 8 bits. So double is bigger. And then you are forcing it, you are trying to pass it through a variable of int. Right? So that's why it's giving this error. Because it's a type mismatch, cannot convert double to int. Now, to actually force this conversion, we do what? So we want to first convert our double here to an int before we can pass it. So this is called narrow typecasting. Right? So this kind of typecasting is called what? Narrow what? Typecasting. And if I log this, remember that integer do not carry decimal. So our system is going to truncate this decimal. So if I log this, and I run this, what do you think I'll have? I'm gonna have what? 1. So I've converted this casting double to an integer. So this decimal part is going to be truncated. So that's why I'm having what? 1. So this type, even if I have 1 here, and 1, 1 can be taken. 1 is also, this value 1 is also accepted by an integer. Is it going to give me an error? Because the space allocated for this one is what? 8 bytes. And now forcing that 8 byte into 4 bytes. It's not possible. So all I need to do is to what? Convert this particular cast double, this double into int first. And I do that using what? This process is called what? So this is called typecasting. Instead of typecasting, is called narrow typecasting. Now in the other way around, I have an int, right? And I say casting to dot double. So this int has a value of, let's say, 13. And I have a double, right? Casted double equals to, and I'm giving it, assigning to this casting. Let me call it casting what? Sorry. I'm going to call this casting int. So this is casting what? Int. So this was happening. I have a variable which is of type integer, and I name it casting double. And then I created a variable called casting double. A variable called casting double. I'm assigning this particular casting int to a variable called casted double, right? So therefore, this will be converted to what? Integer. And because this double has a bigger space, this will be converted into double. I'm trying to put double now trying to put int in double. And because double is bigger than int, so this is permitted. So my program, so this is being converted from even without knowing. So this is done automatically. So the casting is done automatically. And this type of casting is called widening what? Typecasting. So I don't need to come here and put what? Double, like I did for it. These have been done automatically, right? And that is because I'm taking in an integer value, which is of smaller space on memory. I'm assigning to a value with a bigger state is on memory, right? So this is going to work, and then this casting will be done automatically. So this type of typecasting is called widening what? Typecasting. And this widening, so this type of typecasting, typecasting is called widening typecasting. It is done what? Automatically. Right? So at this point, we have done justice to what a variable is. The different data types. We have looked at how to declare and how to assign variable. I've also looked at typecasting and looking at double, narrowing, and then widening typecasting, right?